Greetings everybody, this is Emily from ofpagesandink, and today is one day away from Christmas. It is Christmas Eve, and I'm so excited for tomorrow, and we actually close early at work today, so I get to, have kind of like an early day off, even though I do get a regular 4-hour shift. But anyway, if you don't know what this video will be about, is I am doing a book year interview of 2015 by genre. So it's going to be most of the books that I have read this past year, not all of them, because some of them fell into smaller categories that I didn't want to make an extra video for. Like, for example, I read probably 3 contemporary reads, because I don't really read contemporary very often. So I decided to just not talk about those. But this one is going to be my dystopian reads and review, just a quick thing. Tomorrow I'm going to hopefully be posting 3 videos if I can get them all done, because I'm going to be doing a science fiction bookish year review kind of thing. I'm also going to have my Christmas my Christmas book haul. There we go. I wanted to say Christmas unboxing, and I'm like, that's not what this one is. My Christmas book haul. I already have 4 books that I got from my boyfriend that I'm not going to show until then. And I'm also going to do my Owl Crate unboxing for December because I got it last night. And I was like, well, it's this close to Christmas. Let's just open it on Christmas. So I will be doing that tomorrow as well. Excuse me. So, yeah, let's get to it. Hopefully my bells don't annoy you, but I really love Christmas. I don't actually have a Christmas shirt, so I borrowed one of my mom's red ones. Anyway, let's get started. So, these are in no particular order. I just kind of looked at my list and like, what's dystopian? So, they're not all here. First of all, some of them were borrowed, some of them are on my Nook. And some of them yeah, let's just get to it. I'm not going to keep talking. So the first one on my list that I have is Penryn and the End of Days, which I'm not entirely sure counts as dystopian. It's listed under dystopian on Goodreads, but it's more of a post-apocalyptic story. But I decided to talk about it in dystopian anyway, because it is kind of a dystopian world in a way. So we have Angel Fall, World After, and End of Days. I read all of these this year. And it's one of my favorite series. It's excellent. The characters are great. You even really kind of grow to love the antagonist, which I kind of like in a book, because if you just hate the antagonist the whole time, you're not really getting like the entirety of the experience. I don't really know how to explain it, but that's my view. Sometimes you need to hate the antagonist though, but I actually kind of enjoy one of them. He's kind of like the sub-antagonist. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, this series follows Penryn, Penryn Young, I was trying to remember her last name, on a journey to save her sister Paige, and she comes across an angel named Rafi, who gets his wings cut off by some of his fellow angels, and she kind of recruits him to help her in return of being able to have his wings back on his back. They have to travel to the this is mainly an Angel Fall. They have to travel to the headquarters of the Angels in San Francisco. And then from there, they form a bond, they meet new people, and I won't really say what happens, but basically they're trying to stop this large plot that's bigger than just what happens to Paige, and they try to stop it and kind of put the world back to what it was. Then, next on my list, I have the testing. I have only actually read the testing. That's on my Nook, so I don't have like a physical copy because my boyfriend has my Nook. But the testing is kind of like the Hunger Games in a way, only instead of fighting for victory, they're fighting to go to college in a way, which is actually really interesting. And the world is, in my opinion, more barren, and it's not like a created, it's not like a created arena. It's literally the world that's kind of like fallen apart. And also, I don't think they have to kill each other. It's more of like a race. They have to get to the end point before anybody else, and they have to kind of survive in the environment. it was really, really interesting to me. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't remember what I gave it as like a point system because it was quite a while ago, but I do remember I really did enjoy it, and I do want to read the next one, which I think is Independent Study, and that may also be on my Nook, so I could be reading that next year. Yeah. Then I have the Darkest Minds series by Alexandra Bracken. I'm missing In the Afterlight because my brother's borrowing it. It feels really empty without it. This year I only reread the Darkest Minds because it was the Book Lord's Book of the Month at some point on it's a Tumblr blog that my friend had started. I call her Sil because on Tumblr she goes by Silver. And it's also a Goodreads group. So basically we read that and we kind of talked about it. But I never continued on with the series because I just had other things I needed to read. And I had already read Neverfade, but I didn't have In the Afterlight, and I didn't have Through the Dark. So now that I have those, I will probably be reading those next year. And I'm really excited to get to In the Afterlight and Through the Dark because I just really need to read them. I also pre-ordered, The Passenger, and I got an extra... well, not an extra, but it's like a bonus novella that Alexandra Bracken wrote. I know for a fact it's about Liam, but I think it's about Liam in between The Darkest Minds and Neverfade. So I'm really excited to read it. I kind of wanted to put it off and read it when I start to read The Darkest Minds, kind of like in sequence. I might even do like a massive The Darkest Minds read-along, so maybe look forward to that announcement. But The Darkest Minds is definitely one of my favorite series in the whole world. What it's about... I'm going to look this up again. Or at least this one. What this book is about is it's about a world where a disease called Ian, which I don't remember all of the thing. I want to say it's adolescent acute neurodegeneration, IAAN, IAAN, which basically kills children, I want to say under the age of 10, it might be under the age of 13, I don't remember the specifics, it's been a while. And those that don't die end up having these abilities that I want to say are more mental, because, neurodegeneration has to do with the brain. And they're all kind of controlled by the brain, so mental. And they're sent to these rehabilitation camps to learn to not use their power till it goes away, pretty much, which of course isn't the case. But it follows the journey of a girl named Ruby Daly, who has the chance to escape the camp that she's at, which I believe is one of the first. It's one of the more well-known. It's called Thurmond. And she meets this gang of wandering kids who have powers, obviously, in their search for a kid named called the Skip Kid. He's not really named the Skip Kid, who is known to kind of send word to the families that their children are still alive and they want to find their way back to their families. So they're carrying a letter, and Ruby kind of joins them because she wants to get back to her home, and that doesn't exactly happen. But it's a great series, and it kind of goes on to like Neverfade and In the Afterlife, but it goes on to talk about how the disease is created, and the different like factions. I don't want to say factions, that's probably not even the right word, but like there's the children's group who supposedly wants to help. Then there's also another group that doesn't want to help. Yeah, they're really, really great books, and I highly, highly, highly recommend them. And I also highly, highly recommend Angel Fall, which I had put over here. So you should read those. You really should if you like dystopians. Then we have The Selection, which a lot of people don't really consider dystopian because in a way it's more frilly because it's about a, it's by Kiercast. It's about a kind of like a pageant where girls compete to become the next queen, pretty much. But what most people don't really realize, because of the frou-frou covers and the frou-frou summary on the backs and stuff, there's also not really a war, but there are rebels from like two ends of this world that are trying to kind of take over and knock down the government in, I believe it's Ilya. And so they have to deal with that and the threat to not only the prince's family and the palace, but also the main character, America Singer's family, and, you know, all the families of the people in the country. And they have to kind of figure out what to do. So the first three, I think there's supposed to be 6. The first 3 follow America Singer's journey through the competition, and at first she kind of just stays for her family, but then she kind of starts to fall for Maxon. And there's also another guy. There is a love triangle in this book, and I really don't like the other guy in the triangle because he's the kind of character that I don't like. But they're really good books. I actually really enjoyed them. There are a lot of people that don't, probably because of the frou-frou, and there's not enough like action, and it's also really, really dramatic. And at some points I'm like, really? But they're still really good books. I'm really looking forward to reading The Heir, who my friend is supposed to send to me. If she doesn't end up sending it to me, I'm probably just going to buy it in the next book that's either coming out or is going to come out. And I don't actually remember what that one's called. Anyway, then I have Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, which is one of the best books I read this year. If you like video games, this is definitely something to look into. It's about a world in the future where everything's kind of fallen apart, mainly because people have become so absorbed in technology. And there's like this Easter egg hunt kind of thing within the world's like technology system, and the person who finds it pretty much inherits this millionaire's fortune because he passes away, and he's the guy that created this thing. And it's really cool. It's really interesting. You see friends form. You see how technology has kind of consumed these people and like what it does to the people of the world. Yeah, it's really, really good, and I do recommend it. Then I have a series of books that I don't, like the next ones on the list, I don't own or I don't have with me. There's The Young World by Chris Weitz, which is actually really good. The first one was really good. It's about, obviously, a world where things have kind of fallen apart. This one is also mainly from disease, and it's left pretty much only teenagers. It killed kids, and it killed adults, so it's just teenagers. And once they reach a certain age, they kind of contract disease quickly, and then they die. So these kids are kind of hoping to find a cure while they're just kind of trying to survive day to day with what they have left in the world. There's this group, I want to say like the East Siders, who are a bunch of military white boys, who have created like this government in their own little place, which kind of is not good. So they kind of have to try to find this cure while avoiding these people, and there's like different tribes all over the place. Eventually they run into this tribe that agrees to get them a boat to help them to get to this certain island in hopes of finding the cure. There's also this like legend of the old man, who is this old man who is seen in this world where adults haven't been seen in years because of this disease. And he actually kind of plays a part in the story too. The second book, I want to say, is like World After or something like that. It's something similar to Angelfall, and like the title, not the book. And from there, a lot more stuff happens that I don't really want to talk about because it kind of ruins the ending of the first book. But the first book was really good. The second book kind of fell flat to me. But I really enjoyed it, and I do think that you should read it, if not the series, then just the first book, because it was really good. Then I have Breaking Sky, which I'm not entirely sure counts as dystopian, because it just doesn't have like a dystopian-ish feel. It's basically about like a civil war going on with, I believe, China. And so there's not supposed to be any like new technology, but they have to prepare in case there's an attack, and there had been some attacks. And it's about a girl named Chase, who is a fighter pilot and one of the best. She goes under the call sign of Nyx, and it kind of goes through the journey that she has being this fighter pilot and learning to fly these very advanced ships, and kind of the stuff that comes with her behavior, because she's not the most angelic character, and how it kind of impacts the world that they live in. And it's actually really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. It was actually the first book that I left a note in the library book that I had borrowed to read it. And every time I go there, it's still there, and the note is still inside it. So I don't know if somebody just didn't take the note out, or if nobody's checked it out yet. So if you live in my area, which I won't tell you where I live, you should go and check out Breaking Sky and read it, because it's really good, and also read my note because I worked hard on it. It's kind of like a poem in a way. Then the last book I didn't really enjoy. I think I gave it like 2 stars, and that was Incarnate by Jody Meadows. It kind of fell really flat to me. It was a good idea at the time, but it just didn't pan out to what it could have been. There is a world where souls are kind of reincarnated all the time, which is kind of, incarnate. And then there's this girl that is a new soul. She doesn't have any past lives. She's the very first soul of her kind. And a lot of people don't trust her, because it means that somebody's soul isn't coming back, because only so many souls can be there at one time, I guess. And she's called the New Soul. And she comes across this guy who, because she had run away from home or something. And this guy has come to kind of help her out, but she's not sure she can trust him. And it's kind of really irritating, because you kind of see them fall in love, but she's so hesitant the entire time. And it's so obvious that they like each other, and it's just kiss already. But the plot was actually really kind of boring. There wasn't really a whole lot going on. He takes her back to his city, or his town, or whatever it was. And they try to embrace the new soul, and stuff kind of happens because of it. But yeah, it was a 2 out of 5 stars, because it really fell flat. Yeah, that was my dystopian books in review. I know I'm not the most interesting person when I talk about books, but hopefully you did enjoy it. I try to make it fun when I talk about books, but it's largely my opinion. So if you don't like my opinion, let me know your opinion down below. Also, what dystopian books have you read this year? What were some of your favorites? Let me know, like I said, below, and we can talk about it. Look forward to my 3 videos tomorrow. I missed out on Top 5 Wednesday this week, and I thought about doing it, but since it's basically what I'm going to be doing on the 31st, which is the most anticipated reads of 2016, I figured I was just going to let it go, and I'll do the next one, which was the top 5 books of the year, which is going to be really difficult, because it was hard enough picking the top 10, now I have to pick the top 5. But that is all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas and a happy holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. And I will see you then. Bye.